Now it's time to install the drive shafts to this right here, the output shafts of this motor gearbox combo right here. And then we can install the motor on the factory location right here. Now the reason I'm not doing any crazy mods or anything to this one is because I want this to be something somebody can buy and replicate, or you know, maybe one day will be available like this. Would be pretty cool to have a pro version of the C24. This is a very popular truck for them. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. And earlier, I think I mentioned on this ESC receiver combo that this first slot right here was for the on-off switch and the second one was for the battery. I actually had that reversed. The first one is for the battery, the second one is for the on-off switch, and then the third one is going to be your motor, which is what I have soldered directly on right now. Now you have to be careful when you're soldering directly onto the board like this. You want to have a good soldering iron that gets hot enough so you don't touch this too long and mess up stuff on the board. So yeah, we're gonna get these ends right here, put the grub screws in them, and then we're gonna install them on there. I know I keep on mentioning put Loctite on this stuff, but I don't want you guys to forget either, because I forget sometimes myself. Just put these grub screws in there nice and snug, you know, tighten it a little bit, but not too much to where you strip them, because you're gonna let the thread locker do its job, hopefully. So that's how it looks like it's connected. So I connected this one first so I could spin it to get this one in a better position. All right, now that I have that attached, it's time to go ahead and put it onto our frame right here. And it's just 4 screws. And don't forget to put the drive shafts together before you do that, because it'll be harder to get it on there. As you can tell, I have the gearbox on the chassis right here. So that's ready to go. Drive shafts connected. So that thing right there, you want to stop right there, but cut this down up to there. This will give you a lot more room for your ESC receiver to wiggle around in here, so you can connect all the wires and have enough room to put everything in the stock location where it was intended in the first place. And we are going to screw our on-off switch to this stock location right here as well. So yeah, let me trim that part right there and show you what I'm talking about. I'm not sure if you can tell right there, the part I removed right here. I just lined it up with this line right here, so it's flush with that line right there. And now there's nothing here, which leaves us a lot of room depending on which way we're going to have this oriented in here. And if we put it in sideways like this, we should have enough room to plug everything in right there, and that should be good. So let's get our servo in here right now. You're going to use this right here, it's your servo cover, and it's just going to go on top of your servo like so. There you go, and just screw it in. So in the instructions, it says that that middle port right there, the middle one horizontally, is the one you're going to connect your steering servo to. So the brown one is the negative, the middle one is the positive, and then you have your signal wire right here. So the signal wire on this one is going to be to the furthest to the right. So that's how it's going to be plugged in there. And then the bottom one right here is going to be for your shift servo, and that's going to be for your 2-speed right here, which I forgot to install on this. So I'm going to have to pull the 4 screws off of this gearbox that's connecting it to the chassis so I can install the shift servo. So these are the screws right here you're going to need. You're going to need that servo horn for the shift servo. You're going to need that right there to install that. And you're going to need these 2 right here to install the shift servo itself onto its bracket. This right here, when you have the servo connected, when you have all the electronics connected, and when you hit the shift button to shift, this thing right here, when it gets into low range, you want it to be as much 90 degrees as possible like this to the servo. So you want it to be as even to this surface right here as much as possible. And that will ensure the best engagement when it's going into low range. When you're installing these 2 screws for the servo to connect the servo into its mounting point, just make sure once it bottoms out, don't over tighten it. If you strip it, then your shifting action won't be as good as you expect, or might even skip a lot. So once it's snug, that's all you need, and then you're good to go. Now what we're going to do is make sure to turn on the truck and make sure everything's connected properly, so that way we can also reverse the motor wires if we need to, and then we can check if the steering works and the shifting works, and then we can continue on with this build. Now we're going to go into this little bag right here to install the servo horn onto the steering servo. Yeah, so I'm not going to connect anything to the servo itself, just right here, just to get it ready and everything, because we're going to have to center all this once we power this rig up. Alright, so I'm going to plug this in. Hopefully I didn't plug anything wrong. Double check down there. Red goes to red. Double check up here. Gotta double check everywhere, make sure you plugged everything correctly. So now I have that in there. I got 2 AA's in the controller. Turned it on. Now I'm going to turn on the truck. As you can tell, the servos made noises, which means they centered themselves right there. So yeah, we're going to connect it to this controller now by pressing this button. Went solid. I think that's connected now. There you go. I don't have the lights on, that's why I couldn't see it stay steady on, so I know it's connected. But there you go, as you can tell. I have steering. Then hit the shift servo or shift gear button. You can hear that. I have shifting. And now let's see if we have power to the motor. Oh, we do. And it's reversed. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and reverse that on the motor wire. But anyway, yeah, there you go. I tested everything, everything works. And now I'm gonna center this right here. So this seems to be about center right there. And now that I have that centered out, and on the shift servo, I'm gonna make sure it's shifted to low. And now that I have this in low and this centered, I'm going to try to install the horns as centered as possible on both of them, so that way I can get this as 90 degrees as possible to engage that low, and I can get this as centered as possible so I could use my trim to trim it out even better from there. Alright, so I tested everything, everything works properly. Have the on-off switch mounted on here to its proper position. This should fit in this area right here. Now time to tuck all the wires in there and have the headlights coming out the front. We're going to have the battery port coming out the back, and the speaker will probably sit on top of this tray right here. I don't know if I'm going to mount it onto here or mount it onto the body itself. We'll have to see if it fits in between this and the body. If it doesn't, I'll have to find a different place for this. So this headlight connection is preventing my install right here. It's too tall, so I'm probably going to cut this off or take this connections off of here and just directly put them onto there myself. Just gonna uninstall it like that, and now you can put these in red to red, black to black, or positive to the red and negative to the black, and that's gonna be your front headlights right there. Alright guys, there's another part of the build right there done, so yeah, be safe out there guys, and as always, go have fun and run that RC.